sons and instant fathers and instant marriages. Listen, it takes 30 minutes to have a wedding. But it may take 30 years to have a marriage.
Well, Shema Israel Adonai Lochanu Adonai Chadav Tabe Kol Babe Kabe Kol Nafshe Kabe Kol Me Odeka. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, and you must love the Lord with all your heart, with all your strength, and with all your might. Bereshit bara Elohim hashamayim va'eret haitatuhu v'bohu v'chushek al penei v'ruach. Once again, you're welcome to Fresh Word from God. And we're going to take our time to be able to decode some messages. Today is going to be wonderful. It's going to be a very, very special word that we're actually bringing to you. And once again, I'm zooming in into the message of Bishop T.D. Jakes. Bishop T.D. Jakes of the Potter's House. And today we're zooming in into a very straightforward, wonderful message that is getting into the Gospel of St. Luke, chapter number 15, and he's talking about the prodigal son. You know, sometimes when I'm talking about Bishop T.D. Jakes, people don't understand it, but you know, there's no way study about preaching, teaching, and raw word can be made in this generation without reference to Bishop T.D. Jakes of Potter's House. Let's zoom in. Let's continue right now.
And maybe you better deal with the devil you know than the devil you don't. Family is tough. I would rather build a church any day than build a family.
That's a deep statement. I would rather build a church any day than to build a family. Family is tough. Wow. That's a very strong statement. Do you know that? Very, very strong statement. Family is tough. Bishop T.D. Jakes says, I'd rather build a church any day than to build a family. Family has its own complexities. Well, let us get in to find out why he's saying that. Let us get in to find out.
I would rather build a business any day than build a family. I would rather lay block than build a family, because block don't have an opinion. Block don't talk back. It stays where you put it. Come on, somebody. But raising a family, see, every block got a mouth, and every mouth has an opinion, and every opinion has to be expressed, and it is your job to hold together all of these different opinions and personalities and attitudes and dispositions and mood swings and midlife crisis and menopause and adolescence. You got to hold it together for a long time. There is no retiring from your family. There is no resigning from your family. You will always be attached to them. Don't believe your divorce papers.
Interesting. Don't believe in your divorce papers. You will always be attached to your family. Forget it. You think you are divorced, you will still be attached to that same person. So then what is the point of you getting into the divorce in the first place? You know, he's speaking some wisdom here. Let's get it. Let's get it right.
Just because you signed a release doesn't mean you're out of jail. Because the first time trouble rises, the first time they have a car wreck, the first time they get sick, the first time they get in trouble, they're going to call you and it's going to affect you. I know you said you don't care and it don't bother you, but you're going to have flashbacks because you got a brain and you're going to have, where are the real people at? Are y'all sitting in the section over here? flashback. Have you ever had a flashback? You broke up, but you still got a flashback, and you're a little worried, but you can't call, and you tell yourself you don't care, but you do, and you're walking around in the middle of the night with that little sick feeling in the bottom of your stomach because your stomach won't listen at your head and disconnect from the fact that you are still connected. Though you are free on paper, you are still bound by experience, and families are messy business. We live in a time now that everybody wants everything quick. Quick love. Immediate gratification. I'm going to talk about some stuff you don't know about because you grew up on instant grits. But I remember when grits weren't instant. So what you call good grits, I just call gritty. Because real grits are slow cooked. Come on, talk to me, somebody. Real grits are slow cooked, take a long time to get the grits right. But that stuff y'all throwing in the microwave that you call grits is not really grits, because if you want something to have real flavor, you got to slow cook it. You got to put it on a smoker. You got to give it some time. You can't cook collard greens in 15 minutes. It takes time to cook green. You got to put the meat in and let it boil down and let it thicken up and let it get a little flavor in it. Come on, somebody, you got to cut your greens and wash your greens and add them in at the right time and then cover them up and let it cook down. Let all the juices cook down till you can't tell the greens from the brown.
So you see, this is what he's doing. He's actually bringing the message practical. Now he's taking the message to kitchen. Do you get the way he's weaving the thing? He's picked it. He's brought it from family issues, and he's saying that it's difficult to build a family. He would rather build blocks than to build a family. He would rather build a business any day than to build a family. He's saying that blocks don't have opinions, but in the family, even the little boy has an opinion. In the family, even your little kid. The child that you are taking care of in school even has a voice, and he can object. She can object to what you're saying. Mommy, don't say that. Mommy, it's a lie. Mommy, the one you are taking care of is if you say, Mommy, that is not good. That is a lie. And he's in the family complexity. Everybody has a voice. The baby on the lap even has a voice to the extent that the baby can keep the mother at one stage, and you are not sleeping because she's not also sleeping. Ask any woman who just gave birth, and she will tell you are not sleeping. It's not that you don't want to sleep. She is not sleeping. Your daughter is not sleeping. Your boy is not sleeping at night, and he's crying throughout the night. And because of that, you need to stay awake. So in family, there are complexities. So it is difficult, and he's telling you that family takes time to grow. Takes time to build, and in order to make you understand how things takes time to build, he takes you to the kitchen so that it becomes so practical, so that it wouldn't be like it's just in the Bible, a story, dead story that he's talking about, but he's talking about a practical thing, so you get to understand that this is what makes family. It takes slowness, and it takes a quiet mode, and it takes you moving in a pace. You don't rush it with family. That's what he's explaining. Let's get deeper.
And see, we don't have time for that. We want instant sons and instant fathers and instant marriages. Listen, it takes 30 minutes to have a wedding. But it may take 30 years to have a marriage.
Deep one. It takes 30 minutes to have a wedding, but it will take 30 years to have a marriage. It takes 30 minutes to have a wedding, but it will take you 30 years to have a marriage. It's word. It's real word. That means that don't ever think that you're going to get an instant husband and your husband is going to be correct from A to Z. No. Don't ever think that you're going to have a wife that is going to be correct from A to Z. It will take just a minute to even do the proposal. It might take 5 minutes to do the proposal for her to accept it, but it will take 30 years to build a marriage. Because there will definitely be complexities, ups and downs. You're coming from different backgrounds. You're coming from different homes, different perceptions, different business ideas, different looks. You're looking at things differently. The way you are trained is not the same way he or she was trained. You are coming from a background where you eat with the calorie set. He's coming with the background that you eat with the spoon, spoon, the fingers. So the two of you, someone is coming from a British, a prepared background. You set the table with all the regalia of the calorie sets, the forks and the knives and the spoon and the soup ladle and the wine glass and the water glass and the dessert set, and somebody is also coming from a place where we just pour the soup on the fufu and everybody come and pick your own. Hey, we'll be having fun there. Different mindset. I'm telling you, sweetheart, different mindset. So it takes 30 minutes for a wedding ceremony, but it takes 30 years to build a marriage. Word. Let's get deeper.
And most of us, if we don't get what we need when we need it, like we need it, in the style that we need it, in our love language, we're out of there. And all of these love languages sound like the United Nations to me. How am I supposed to know what your love language is? I'm still trying to figure out what my love language is. And when your love language and my love language and then the kids' love language gets in there, it sounds like the day of Pentecost. Touch me. No, give me space. Acknowledge me. No, don't make me stand up in front of people. Shut up!
Shut up! Man! He's talking about love languages. He said love language sounds like United Nations to him. Now that I need to understand your love language, even though I don't even know my love language, and I need to know the kids' love language and everybody's love language. Give me space and this, that, I don't want this. You need to acknowledge me. You need to talk to me about people. You need to... Man, shut up. Let's get deeper. Bishop T.D. Jakes, fresh word from God. Wow.
The family started before the church. God knew he had to slow cook it because it was going to take a long time to get that right. He didn't even bring up the church to the New Testament, but he started the family way back in the book of Genesis because he said, this is slow grits. We got to cook it real slow because the brothers are going to get jealous.
What?
And brothers do get jealous.
Bishop already?
They're going to murder, and they're going to kill, and they're going to be envious, some vocally, some silently. But it takes a long time to have a family.
That's all right.
And we're in trouble. Our communities are in trouble. Our nation is in trouble, and our world is in trouble, but all of it is only because our families are in trouble. How can you have a strong community and a weak family? You must understand that the community is made up of families. It is in your family that you learn authority, that you learn order, that you have protocol, that you have used to. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm old folky. Used to have discipline. That's where you learn your art, your skill, your talent, your rules, your regulation. What time to go to bed? It's 9 o'clock. Go to bed. Go to bed. Clean your room. Wash your drawers. Clean yourself up in case you have a wreck.
So he's taken deep into family matters, letting you know that the family started before church because God knew that it will take time to build a family than to build a church. It takes time. Trust me, it takes time to build a family of 4, 5 than to build a church of 1,000. Yes. To build a real family of 5, to have 5 people seated on a dining table, walking, talking, enjoying meal, everything on point, it will take years to get it done. But it will take months to get a 1,000 church capacity in place. Yes. It will take just few years to get a big church and an auditorium in place, but it will take several years to build a family that is a real family. Let's zoom in straight.
I never did understand what a wreck had to do with clean drawers. He dead, but he has. Mama, I died, but my drawers was clean. They cut both my legs off, but my drawers was sparkling white. This is messy. This is complicated. This is difficult. This is tough. It is tough. Because the star of the story is seemingly the son. The biggest fool in the text has the lead role. The most selfish, self-aggrandized, aloof individual in the whole story has the lead role.
So now he's zoomed into the text. 27 minutes of speaking, and now that he's zoomed into the passage that he read, and in zooming into the passage that he read, he's speaking it out from the context of a movie producer. So now he's using the roles in the characters of the text in order to apply it so that movie lovers, people who love movies, can also see it from the eye of watching a movie. And he's talking about the lead role. And he's talking about the fact that it was the son who brought a messy state into the family, who now becomes the lead role or the lead character of that particular story. So you see how he's coined it. He's picking it up from a movie production point of view. And all these things, we're still in the zone of preaching. Now, you all have to get this. Preaching is like you having a class 1 to a university students all put together in a class. The preacher is on stage and the preacher is teaching from class 1 to university level 400. And everybody seated in his class must understand the subject. I'm taking it again. Preaching is a preacher who happens to be the one teaching the crowd, having a class where class 1, even kindergarten, to the level 400 of a university, all the students are put in one class and you have to teach them and everybody must understand. That is preaching. If you finish and class 3 people said they did not understand it, you did not get it right. If you finish and the university people feel that your vocabulary was so soft and weak, you did not get it right. If you finish and the class 1 couldn't understand it because you were speaking Hebrew and Greek and you were speaking big vocabulary, you are getting into discombobulation and all those huge words, and that's what you're doing, and class 1 doesn't understand it, then you missed the mark. So in any way, there must be a point where you go up and you come down. And that's what Bishop T.D. Jakes does. He goes up, he comes down. He goes to the old school, then he comes to the new school. He goes to hit for the men, then he comes to the women. He weaves it for the family, then he weaves it for the single. He weaves it for the married, he weaves it for the dating. He brings it to the church, he brings it to the kitchen. He will take it to the farm, then he will take it to the production. He will take it to work, then he'll bring it back home. And that's what he's just doing. He's building the text around a way where the audience, every individual, will get a share of the message. As simple as that. Let's continue.
The father is the supporting cast. And that's what it means to be a father. To be the supporting cast. It's your job to support. And nobody preaches about the Father. They always preach about the Son. They sing songs about the Son. They do sermons and poetry on the Son. Nobody says anything about the Father. And the Father is the one who held everything together. But it hurt. It hurt. And just because a man doesn't cry does not mean that he doesn't hurt.
So now he's zooming in. He's already talked about the lead role of the movie, which is the character, which is the son. And now he's introduced the supporting cast, which is the father. And now he's entering into the zone of fatherhood. Do you understand what he's doing? He's entering the zone of fatherhood. Fatherhood. I'm pausing here. And I'll get right back to you. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Make sure Rabbi Network Official. Hit the notification bell. Hit the subscription button. And we'll be good to go. This is Fresh Word from God. And my name is Rabbi Humphrey. Stay glued to yourself.